So, what if you could upgrade your entire business with the latest robotics and actually get the government to help you foot the bill? Well, that's pretty much the whole idea behind a really powerful tool for Polish businesses called the Robotization Tax Relief. It's an incentive, specifically designed to help companies like yours modernize and get a serious competitive edge. So let's dive in and see how it all works. I mean, this is the classic dilemma for any business owner, right? How do you invest in the future of your company, but also get an immediate financial win? That's the exact sweet spot this tax relief is aiming for. It's built to make that decision to invest in new tech a whole lot easier, maybe even a no-brainer. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to cover what this relief actually is. Then we'll figure out if it's for you. After that, the fun part. We'll crunch the numbers and see how much you can really gain. Then we'll look at what you can spend the money on, and of course, the most important part, the exact steps you need to claim it. All right, so first things first, let's start with the absolute basics. In simple terms, what exactly is this thing? The most important word to focus on here is additional. See, you can already deduct your business investments as a standard cost. That's normal. But this relief is a bonus. It's an extra 50% deduction that gets stacked right on top just for robotization. Seriously, think of it like the government giving you an extra reward for pushing your business forward. Okay, so it sounds pretty great, but is it actually for your business? Let's check out who's eligible to get in on this. Well, the good news is the rules are actually pretty broad. As long as you're running a business that isn't in the agricultural sector and you pay your taxes through either the standard progressive scale or the flat rate tax, you're pretty much in. And that opens the door for a massive number of companies all across Poland. And now for the part I'm sure everyone's been waiting for, the money. What's the bottom line here? What's the actual financial benefit? Let's break down the math step by step.
First up, you've got your baseline. Any qualifying robotization expense you have can be deducted at 100%, just like any other normal cost of doing business. This is standard stuff. No surprises here, yet.
But this is where the magic happens. On top of that standard deduction, the relief lets you deduct an additional 50% of those exact same costs from your tax base. It's a straight-up financial reward for modernizing. So, when you put it all together, you get to deduct a grand total of 150% of your robotization costs. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. For every 10,000 zloty you invest, you actually get a 15,000 zloty deduction. That is a huge financial advantage. Now, there is one important little rule to keep in mind. The total amount you deduct can't be more than your business income for that year. It's a pretty logical limit, but it's definitely something to be aware of when you're planning your big investments. Okay, so you're eligible, and the math looks fantastic. But what exactly counts as a robotization cost? Let's take a look at the official shopping list of what you can actually spend your money on.
And honestly, they've been pretty generous here. The list isn't just the robot itself. It covers brand new industrial robots, yes, but also all the other essential stuff. We're talking sensors, controllers, even safety equipment. And crucially, it also includes the software to run it all, the remote monitoring systems, and even the cost of training your staff to use the new tech. They've even thrown in certain types of leasing fees.
Just one quick but very important heads up, this relief only applies to costs you've actually paid for yourself. So if you got another grant or some other program already paid you back for an expense, you can't also claim this deduction. It makes sense, right? No double dipping. All right, so you've made the investment, you've got the new gear. Now for the final and most crucial part, how do you actually claim the benefit? Let's walk through the exact process. First, let's talk timing, because this is a big deal. This relief isn't around forever. It only applies to qualifying costs that you have between the beginning of 2022 and the very end of 2026. So yeah, the clock is definitely ticking on this one. The process itself, though, is refreshingly simple. Step 1. Make your investment inside that 2022 to 2026 window. Step 2, when it's time to file your annual tax return, usually the PIT 36 or 36L form, you make the deduction. And finally, step 3, you just have to attach a special information form called the PITRB that details the costs. And that's it. Okay, but what happens if you invest heavily in a year where, business is a bit slow and you end up with a loss? Or maybe not enough profit to use the entire deduction. Is all that benefit just gone? That is a really important question. And the answer is a very reassuring no. You do not lose it. The rules were actually designed with some flexibility here. If you can't use the full deduction in the year you made the investment, you can carry it forward and apply it to your taxes for the next 6 years in a row. This makes sure you get the full benefit no matter how your profits might fluctuate year to year. So there you have it. That's the robotization relief in a nutshell. The government has put a really powerful financial reason on the table to help you innovate. All the practical questions are answered. I guess the only question left is the big one. Is now the right time for you to invest in the tech that's going to define the future of your company? Thanks for tuning in.